She lives. They like skating. It's like Steve again. I tried to see you, remember?
Did you?
All right. What's good? Probably ain't gonna be out here too long. All right, we got a few little things to cover. What's good, Golson? Few things to cover right here. We got the the damn Sixers. Sixers done disappointed me, man. Especially Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, whack ass, would have just got his points. I could have had a G today. I just could have had an extra G today if he would have just got his 20. What did I need him to get? 26 points? Whack ass think I had 18. What's good, Joe, Freddie? Like, man, whack shit. You know what I'm saying? And now, of course, the Sixers are down 3-0, and Joel Embiid once again, which is absolutely insane, will suffer another second round exit. It's crazy, right? Like, this dude cannot get out the second round, bro. No matter how much you try to trust the process, their process will just never, never get there. Now, I watched the majority of that game, kind of. Well, not the majority, because I called it the second half. I watched the second half of that one, and something got to be done about Pandemic P, y'all. Pandemic P is always just like Pandemic P. Just will not show up when it's when the team really needs him. It's at this point. I'm good, Freddie. How are you doing? But yeah, for real, Pandemic P, bro. He had 15 points in the first half, and let me see what this clown finished with. Like, it's crazy. What did this nigga finish with? That nigga made it make another goddamn shot. I don't even remember. He didn't. Pandemic Peace finished with 15 points. It's crazy, bro. 6 for 18 shooting. I don't know what it is between. I don't know who's worse. Let me stop lying. I almost said some blasphemous shit. What's up, Sarah? What's up, Pauls? I almost said some blasphemous shit. I was about to say I don't know who's worse between Pandemic P, aka PPPP. Because during the pandemic, everybody was hitting them PPP loans. So I also call him AKA PPPP. So playoff P, AKA pandemic P, aka PPPP, is fucking trash. Now, I was like the blasphemy I was getting ready to say is I don't know who's worse between him or James Harden. But I had to go ahead and recant that statement because we all know James Harden is the epitome of trash when it comes to playoff basketball. It don't get no worse than James Harden. James Harden is ass. Like, I don't know what it is with dude. Like at least PPPP has a little history, you know what I'm saying, of somewhat um somewhat success in playoffs. Like prior to his injury when he broke his leg, you know, Paul George was a problem during that time. He actually pushed the big three Heat pretty far with his best player being, you know, Roy Hibbert. And Roy Hibbert wasn't nothing special. So with that being said, what's good, DeMarcus? Um, with that being said, playoff P, at least he does have um, somewhat levels of playoff success. James Harden has just crumbled year after year after year after year. Like you got so many examples of when this dude just fall apart and just can't do anything. Like dude is terrible. Paul George may be a choke artist, but he's not on the same level as James Harden. James Harden holds that title and it's not even close. Like, dude, James Harden, you can just go down history. Terrible in the NBA Finals 2012, choked like crazy. Then went on to Houston, did the same shit. The most, I don't know what is his worst choke job. I'm not even sure. Like he has so many of them. It's just insane how he just doesn't show up. And then, but the epic choke job in 2015 where Ginobili, Tim Duncan, and Parker and all of them sat out and still got closed out because this clown, I think, may have had 10 points. Let the San Antonio Spurs bench to beat him. Then, of course, he choked in 2018 when they missed him 27 straight 3-pointers. Then he choked again in the next year, 2019. Kevin Durant goes down. Because it's crazy because I actually remember in 2019, it was people that was claiming James Harden was better than Steph Curry. And I was like, y'all motherfuckers are definitely out of y'all minds, right? And then they were that then Kevin Durant got in because they was claiming the only reason why Steph was winning because Kevin Durant was there, which I told them is far from the truth. Then Kevin Durant gets injured going, and he goes down midway through Game 5, while the series is tied 2-2. Golden State goes ahead to proceed to Steph Curry finish them off in Game 5, and then the second half of Game 6, he erupted and eliminated them in their own house. So another major choke job for your boy James Harden. And then I can keep going on, bro. Like I ain't gotta keep going with James Harden. We all know this dude is terrible. So if it's any James Harden fans, oh hey, it is what it is. But dude is absolute trash. So but yeah, Paul George. No, Paul George not on the same level as him because, like I said, Paul George done had deep playoff success before as the number one option. Like we don't seen him really go to war. We had James Harden just keep choking. So they close that. Like I would give it Paul George. He's a strong second, but James Harden takes the cake. Remember, Harden got benched by who? I don't know why this thing say blocking stuff. I don't know why this is here. Really wish I could move this. I don't know what to say. By McHale, so his team could win. Yeah, you talking about when Kevin McHale was the coach? So yeah, bro. Yeah, it looks like it, DeMarcus. I'll give you that. It looks like they about to sweep them. This sucks, but it's what it's looking like. So so that gets me to the next question. Do you guys think the New York Knicks, because the New York Knicks hasn't been to the NBA Finals in a very long time, right? Knicks hasn't been to the finals since when? I don't even know. I'm sure I wasn't alive the last time they was in the finals. Let's check that out. My bad. That's it, but finals. Shit. Oh, okay. They won in '99. My bad. They won in '99. The last time they won a championship was before I was born, though. I did not know that's who San Antonio beat in the final. That's very interesting. But yeah, so anyways, though, their first time making it to the finals since 1999, and I see y'all helping me out in the comments. 73 is the last time they won. So could they possibly get to the finals this year? They got a good shot at it. The only team now that standing in their way is Detroit. How well do they fare against Detroit? Is I'm not sure because Detroit is a tough, gritty team. That's what I'm really concerned about there. You're gonna have the dynamic of Cade versus Bronson. In my opinion, I'm gonna take Cade over him. So you're saying if OKC doesn't make it to the, they could win it all. You might have some validity to that, but you know what? Because hey, let's be real. We do know that San Antonio gives Oklahoma City trouble. So if Oklahoma City can manage to, if Oklahoma City can manage to give them to do them a favor, I mean, I'm sorry, if the Spurs can manage to eliminate Oklahoma City for them, then the Knicks could have a legit chance at winning it all. Yeah. But I'm like I said, I'm not so sure they can make it past the Pistons. The Pistons is a tough, gritty team. How well do y'all think they fare against the Pistons? I haven't really paid attention to their games in the season, so I'm not sure. Let's check out their record really fast. I'm not sure. Or Knicks fans, if y'all want to help me out really quick, on how they looked against them. So the Pistons. So actually, the Pistons has beaten them 3 times. They're 3-0 against them. So that's the thing, Knicks fan. Y'all let me know what do y'all think. But in the season, the in the season, the Knicks has dominated. I mean, the Pistons have dominated the Knicks. Now, I'm not one to get tied up in, the season games because the season games doesn't define who's better between the team. Because I tell people all the time, a lot of key factors pitch in when it comes to season games. It can be fatigue some of the times, coming out from a back to back. You don't have the same defensive strategies and game plans in the season that you would have in the playoffs. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're better than them. So, but keep in mind the same rules apply when it comes to Oklahoma City and the Spurs. So it's no guarantee that even though the Spurs has looked superior so far against Oklahoma City in the season, there's no guarantee that they're going to dominate them the same way in the playoffs. Spurs and Knicks in this year's finals will go 7 games. I've been said that the Knicks would win the finals this season. That's fine. You said it. But you jumping the gun. They got to get out the East still, and they got to beat whoever. They also have to actually beat who comes out the West. So, nah. You jumping the gun. Pistons' problem is they only have one solid playmaker / shot creator. Okay. And I must say, probably of all the teams that's remaining in the playoffs, the Knicks is probably the least team I watch. Make sure y'all smashing that like button, though. I haven't even checked it. I know a lot of times niggas be sitting on here and they don't even pay attention to the liking the video. Make sure y'all smash the like button. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you over there on X, same thing. Make sure you follow, hit the like. If you're ugly ass on Facebook, same thing. Regular season and playoffs games are totally they are. That's what I'm saying. So that doesn't mean that they can beat the Pistons can beat the Knicks, but that also the same rules were applied that it doesn't mean that the Spurs would beat Oklahoma City. Knicks versus Timberwolves in the NBA Finals is crazy, bro. Now that, if you want to make another bet, I'll bet. I told you this last time. I will absolutely bet that with you. Now it's gotten worse for you because the Spurs are up 2-1. That will not happen because I told people that was saying the Wolves were going to win when they won the first game. I told y'all, nah, that don't look good because if you pay attention, the Knicks, the Wolves barely beat them game 1 when Wemby had a terrible scoring night. And the fact that the game was that close let me know everything I needed to know. I was like, yeah, they're not going to beat them. I'm not a Knicks fan, but Knicks have a top defense and offense. Pistons can't run with them in the playoffs. Only in the regular seasons they can hang with the Knicks. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to speak too much on it because I'm not aware. Like I haven't watched too much of the Pistons. I don't know much about them. 2-1 is a 2-1 is a lot. 2-1 means that they are ahead. That's what it means. Even if the Wolves win the next one, they the Pistons are still. I mean, the Spurs are still in the driver's seat because they now own the home court advantage. All they got to do is keep winning at home, and they make it out. But this is the thing. Shit. You gotta look at how the stuff happened. The Knicks looked like, the Spurs looked dominant over them. Like they got a command in the win game 2. They looked pretty solid today. I didn't watch the whole game, ain't gonna lie, because my ass was tired of shit. I was up a long time yesterday night. For those of y'all that was there for a lot of the stream yesterday, I didn't go to sleep probably until 5 in the morning maybe yesterday, and then I got right back up around 7. So I took another nap not too damn long ago, and it was doing the Spurs and the Wolves game. But I woke up to see the very end and saw that the Spurs won. But anyways, the next thing, though, I kind of want to dive into it's Wemby ceiling. We kind of talked about this a little last night, and I want to do a little deeper dive into the ceiling of Victor Wembanyama. Now, I know a lot of people believe that he possibly won't go as far because of his body frame. And, a lot of people are concerned about his injuries. Like that's the argument YD was making yesterday that, he's only what? Victor Wembanyama is probably 22 right now. I think he's 22 years of age, 23 at the absolute oldest. And he's already in year 3 being on minute restrictions during the season. And more than likely, it's due to his body type. They don't want him to end up sustaining a significant injury. So, to protect him, they kind of put him on minute restrictions. And he has already had 2 years where, injuries kind of derailed him. The first year, he pretty solid. I think he played 75 to 77 games, which is pretty good out of 82. And then the second season, he ended up missing half of the season. And then this year, he played 65, if I'm not mistaken. So certainly injuries could be a problem of what we might want to look at when it comes to him. But let's go ahead and speak from a hypothetical standpoint. Like we don't really know what injuries may bring when it comes to his career. Let's just simply focus on if he does stay healthy. How far could Victor Wembanyama go? That's what we're talking about. Because they keep on trying to, put these other people against Michael Jordan. Like, unless you just you just delusional, a delusional Michael Jordan, LeBron fan or something in that nature, more than likely, Michael Jordan is the greatest player to come out of the NBA. We know that. Now I know a couple of people such as DeMarcus have Kareem over him, but to be honest with you, even having Kareem over him doesn't even make sense. There's a lot of stains on Kareem's resume that you can point at that stops. And then, I know a lot of people try to factor in his college days and all that. We're talking about the NBA. We're not talking about what they did in college and shit like that. That doesn't mean anything. But We're talking about how great were you at the greatest level of basketball? How dominant were you at the greatest level of basketball? And when it comes down to that, nobody does better than Michael Jordan. LeBron's not even close. I'm not even trying to dig into that. But in my opinion, he's not even close. It's just a manufactured argument that they've created in the media simply to sell their product, which is the NBA, to make you think that they have the greatest thing since sliced bread. But in actuality, LeBron is a great player, but he's not on the same level as Michael Jordan. Kareem, I would say, is closer. Obviously, Kobe is closer. But in the end, Michael Jordan takes the cake when it comes to this. And I said all that to say Victor Wembanyama is the first person I've seen in a while that legitimately has a chance to challenge Michael Jordan's legacy. Because he pretty much has all that's needed and all that it takes to legitimately challenge it. Now, we don't know what the future may bring with him. We've simply taken a guess on what we've seen from him thus far, right? We know his defensive prowess is already up to par. Like, he's already, according to what we've seen him so far, he's already one of the greatest defenders we've seen. And, although I'm one that says the NBA is way simple, way easier in today's time than it was back then, which is true, but that's more so pertaining to the offensive sides of things, in my opinion, because I've always said, I know the newer players get a lot of credits when it comes to, their inflated numbers on the offensive end, which I do agree with. I think it's also fair to say on the defensive side, they should get a little bit more credit than what they get. Now, I know a lot of the old heads would disagree with me on this, but think about this. You can't say that it's easier to score in the NBA today and then out your mouth also say the defenders today aren't able to defend, aren't good defenders. Because you got to think about, if you can't touch them in today's time, right? If you can't touch them, how are you going to, at the same breath, say that they, the ones that are playing good defense on people, not great defenders? It doesn't make sense. That's why when it comes to players like Victor Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert, Draymond Green, the great defenders, Kawhi Leonard of this era, you got to give them a lot of props because they're still able to defend and make stops at a high level in a league where you're not able to hand check, right? You're not able, especially the centers, you're not able to just rest in the paint and wait on somebody to attack the basket and then, just block them when they come. You're not able to do that in today's time. So I think it's kind of fair to say that you can't knock the defenders of today. Now, offensively, absolutely. Let me check some of these comments. I see you down there, YD, but he absolutely does have a shot at it. And keep in mind, I'm not even a Wemby fan. Well, you know what? I like him. I'll take that back. I do like him, but I'm definitely not saying this because I'm a hardcore Wemby fan. I'm saying this because it just simply makes sense. Like I said, he can control games simply with his defense. We haven't seen a player like that in a very long time that can control a game because he's so great defensively. And then, although he does still have a little to go, in my opinion, as far as his offense. And this is the thing, he's not a bad offensive player. He's pretty damn good offensively as well. But I do think he still has a little ways to go offensively. But once he does, because like if we was giving it a letter grade, defensively he's an A plus already. And from an offense standpoint, I would say he's a B. So if he can get that offense up to A minus at least, he has a legitimate chance at challenging Michael Jordan's legacy. Because think about this. Let's just go ahead and do a simulation for the remainder of this NBA playoffs run, right? Let's just say the Spurs go ahead and dismantle what's left of the Timberwolves, and then they go ahead and face off against Oklahoma City. We know throughout the season that they look like they fare pretty well against Oklahoma City, and let's just say that continues. They end up beating Oklahoma City. We know that the Knicks so far has given them trouble. But again, I am not 100% convinced the Knicks are even coming out of the East because they still have Detroit standing in their way. So whichever one ends up winning between Detroit and the Knicks, either way, let's just say the Spurs beats whoever comes out of the East. So now that's one title and more than likely Finals MVP for Victor Wembanyama. So now he would have already in just 3 years a Defensive Player of the Year, a Finals MVP, and a championship, right? If they can find a way to because this is the thing, teams like the Spurs, teams like Oklahoma City has the recipe to actually win back-to-backs, because typically when it comes to back-to-backs, teams who wins back-to-back, they stellar in the defensive department. Typically the ones that are pretty good offensively and they rely on a lot of jump shooting, they don't go very far. Like they don't create a dynasty. They may get a championship, and then the next year somebody else win it. They never defend their titles. The last people we seen to defend their titles was Golden State, and they were stellar defensively and offensively. And then the next ones after that was the Miami Heat. Same thing can be said with them. And before that, you could jump all the way to the Lakers in when they did their three-peat from 2000 to 2002, which also they were good defensively, right? So the common denominator is defense. As long as Victor Wembanyama is on the San Antonio Spurs, their defense is going to be good. Now, injuries could derail them. Granted, we get that. But we're simply talking about if he is able to stay healthy and be available throughout every playoff run they have. And he's only going to get better. Because I would like to say eventually people are going to be, he's going to figure it out. I have to stop taking too many threes. Let's get on the block more. And he's not soft, because we've seen the Wolves already try to rough him up, right? That's pretty much a big part of what their game plan was. That's how the Timberwolves was able to get the Nuggets out of here. They were very physical, roughed the Nuggets up, and they weren't able to handle it. They're trying to do those same tactics with Wembanyama, but Wemby is just taking it and be like, "Nah, I'm good." Because you got to think about it. He grew up in Europe. And same can be said for Nikola Jokic, but it is what it is. But Europe, the difference between them is that they already play way more physical in FIBA than they do here in the NBA. The NBA is very soft. Adam Silver then did a number on them as far as how soft the league is. So what I'm saying is, I think it's safe to say that Wemby is absolutely going to win another Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I think anybody who says different is just being delusional at this point. As long as health doesn't impact his career in any kind of way, he's going to win. Now, I would say not just one Defensive Player of the Year. He's going to win multiple more Defensive Players of the Year. And he's also going to win a few MVPs. So think about it. Multiple Defensive Players of the Year. Probably is going to be multiple season MVPs. And if he's able to do a back-to-back, capture a few titles while being the best defensively, like the way the path that Victor Wembanyama is on, a lot of people can start eventually making a claim: is he the best defensive player ever in the history of the NBA? That campaign is going to start eventually. People are gonna start doing that. And if he captures enough Defensive Players of the Year, you can make a legitimate argument for it, right? And then look at it from the rebounding department as well. He might also end up capturing a few rebounding titles. So multiple Defensive Players of the Year, multiple MVPs, multiple titles. With all of that being said, you're telling me he can't challenge Michael Jordan? I think that'll be kind of, at this point, I think it would just be feelings based if you believe he can. MJ is for sure the biggest winner, the best player at impact and winning in the history of NBA. Fact. And that's the reason why he's the greatest of all time. Winning is what matters the most. Wemby is nowhere near Jordan. Wemby could be more like DeMarcus. Again, I told you this shit yesterday. No one is saying he's like Jordan, dude. I don't know where the hell you keep getting this from. No one's saying he's like Jordan. Let me repeat it one more time. No one is saying he is like Jordan. Their play style is nowhere near the same. Wemby is a 7'5", defensive minded, fundamental player. He's not Michael Jordan. He's not a killer like Michael Jordan. We're not talking about from that standpoint. Their play styles is nowhere near the same. We're talking about being the greatest player of all time. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. And I'm saying, can Wemby potentially challenge that? That's what we're talking about. We don't give a damn about the endorsements either. I'm not talking about that. I don't care about his endorsements. I'm simply talking about his play on the court. This dude saying this when the dude hasn't played 10 playoffs. I don't give a fuck what he hasn't played. We're talking about potential. Y'all motherfuckers are just, I don't know. We're simply talking about potential. I'm nowhere saying I don't have this. He's not ranked nowhere yet. In my book, Wemby's not top 500 yet. He hasn't done anything. But I am simply going by what I've seen so far. In fact, when I first seen him, his rookie season, my brother is a San Antonio Spurs fan. When I first seen him, his rookie season, I was like, you know what? Wemby is something I've never seen before. Wemby could possibly challenge Michael Jordan in the future for the greatest player of all time title. Keep in mind, I don't have no skin in the game. I have no reason to want to promote Wemby. I'm not a Spurs fan. In fact, I'm far from it with the history of me and watching the NBA. But at the end of the day, Dwight Howard did what? And Ben Wallace did what? Like I don't know what you're talking about. And then you saying it's a lot of ifs. That's what the whole topic is talking about. Ifs. That's what I'm talking about. The topic is what is his ceiling? That's what we're talking about. Y'all folks, I don't know why in the world y'all getting like that, but it's okay. I'm simply talking about how far can he go. Is that they have limited tools nowadays to defend as they used to, which could make them even better defenders. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They're not able to do much as much, you know, on the defensive end as the players prior to them were able to do. Like all the great defenders back in the day, you got Bill Russell, Ben Wallace, you know, McKinley Mutombo, Dennis Rodman, you know, all of the greats that we know back in the day, Elijah Wan, all of them played under the handshake rule. Will he have the impact off the court as an icon to make the GOAT debates? Bill broke barriers. Kareem changed his name. Jordan had off the court stuff and shoes. Kobe had the the grape chase, where he built the but just to join the GOAT debate and become a household name. So look, if we're talking about from that standpoint, then you guys got me. But keep in mind, I said at the top of this that I am simply stating on the court play. I'm talking about being the greatest at the game of basketball in the NBA. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about all the other stuff. That's why when he said something about endorsements earlier, I was like, we're not talking about the endorsements. That's not what we're talking about. If we're talking about popularity, how much money he's going to make off endorsements and things in that nature, the legacies, and you know, being an icon and stuff like that, household name. Yeah, he probably couldn't challenge Michael Jordan when it comes from that. Comes to that, he's not going to even be able to challenge LeBron probably, or even Steph, Kobe. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when it's all said and done, once their careers have been cemented, the potential, the ceiling of how far Wemby can go. Because one thing we should be able to agree upon is that his defensive prowess is like something we've never seen before. We've seen some great defenders in there in our league before, no doubt. But see, I think you mentioned Ben Wallace. You mentioned Dwight Howard. These are guys that were primary bigs that could only defend bigs, other bigs. Victor Wembanyama, we see blocking guards. Like he'll go out there and use his length and actually block guards, affect their shots a lot. That's not something we've seen like that before. Not saying that none of the other, bigs have never blocked a guard before, but on a consistent basis to be able to go out there on the switch and actually hold his own and alter their shots just as much as he's doing the ones in the paint, that's something like what we haven't seen before. Low key, if Victor's 7'5", you ever think how big he really is? Okay, this mine. Let me get your ass up out of here. Okay, Sam. I don't know why the way y'all fruit cups keep on trying to come in my lab like this, bro. That shit is crazy. It's always fans whom team never won a chip, haven't win a chip in 50 years talking about that. Shut your ass up, there. He'll be lucky if he's better than the dream when he's done. All right. Y'all can agree with each other all y'all want. No one gives a fuck. I'm what I know is I'm giving the facts. And then y'all keep on, this is the thing, y'all keep on talking about shit that I'm not talking about. That's the problem. You're steady talking about shit I'm not talking. No one's talking about how big of a prospect he was. Nobody's talking about how much money he's going to make on the court. I don't give a fuck about this shit. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is how great this man will be at the game of basketball playing in the NBA. That's all we're talking about. How great could he potentially be? You're talking about Elijah Wan and all this and stuff. Cool. Elijah Wan didn't have the same skill set that what Victor Wembanyama has. We know this because Elijah Wan himself said it. So y'all can keep on going. Just because y'all don't like it, it's fine. I don't have a reason to promote him. Like I said, I'm not a Victor Wembanyama fan. I don't have a reason to protect him and just create narratives and shit like that. No reason whatsoever. Could Wemby guard Shaq? No one could guard Shaq one-on-one. So you're just trying to make a claim for no reason. No one cares about whether or not you can guard Shaq one-on-one. Who would you say? Appreciate the soup. He said, who would you say is better, Hakeem Olajuwon or Tim Duncan? Shit. That's actually a good question. They're both pretty damn good defensively. Pretty good offensively. I would say Olajuwon was a little better offensively, probably. Tim Duncan accomplished more. I mean, in my book, I got Tim Duncan ranked higher, but I wouldn't be mad at anyone that said, that says they have Olajuwon ahead of him. You're saying, and then this is another thing. All these people that y'all are naming, let's just say Victor Wembanyama wins the title this year. If Wemby wins the championship this year, all the people that y'all talking about right now, he automatically jumps ahead of them already. Because Giannis has one championship. And he got it what? I don't know what year he was, but way after year 3. In year 3, Giannis was bench warming probably. You know, Giannis is one of those stories where he ended up getting much better throughout his career as he prolonged, like what, maybe year 7 or some shit, he became great. But yeah. And I don't get where all this is coming from. Like, they acting like I'm just saying Victor Wembanyama is the greatest player ever, or he's going to be the greatest. I'm not declaring that. We're strictly talking about how far can he go. That's what we're talking about. What is his potential? And I believe his potential is he could challenge Michael Jordan. I can understand why y'all up in here saying what y'all saying. Ben Wallace could just showing you his versatility is limited to this era, but his versatility is portable. What? Okay, so you're saying that he's only able to do this in this era? No, I don't think he could. That's the thing. I don't think that's true. Now, if he played, and this is the thing, even if it is, he's still, you only can deal with what era they're in. That's why when it comes to folks comparing eras, I keep telling y'all, you only can compare it in comparison to how great were they in their era. That's the reason why, and I don't mean to slight LeBron now, but I'm going to do it since you're basically forcing me to do so right now. That's the reason why I don't have LeBron ranked that high, as all of y'all try to put him in rooms that I don't think he belongs in. He didn't dominate his era. You can say, oh, this person did this and did that. Oh, he scored. Like, that's something that I noticed that a lot of LeBron fans try to make claims upon. Oh, look at how much he averaged in comparison to this person 20, 30 years ago. It wasn't the same. You cannot compare the era. Scoring was done totally different in the 90s than how they are now. It was done totally different in the 2000s than they are now. So you can't compare it. You have to compare it. What was their production on the court? That's how you compare it. How much did they win? How much did they dominate their era? Now, I can admit, to a degree, perhaps, I could say I might be slightly biased when it comes to that, because I don't revere Bill Russell that high because of the era. But let's be real. If you go back and look at the shit that them niggas are doing, it's just not the same. I mean, let's be real. It's nowhere near the same is what we're saying. But I still do have him ranked high because of what he accomplished. I just can't put him like top 5-ish level of greatness, because I do think his era, not being nearly as many teams, also how much talent he had on his team, all of that stuff has to be factored in. But yeah, back to what I was saying. We're not talking about if he will be able to guard Shaq or all that shit. We know that Shaq 101 couldn't no one guard him. You had certain people that did better jobs on him than others, but just simply being able to stop him 1-on-1, no one was able to do that. So, and this is the thing. I've seen players that are bigger than Wemby. Obviously, they're not taller than him, but bigger. try to get physical with him, give him a bump, and try to lay the ball up or things like that. And what would happen is they'll move him. However, he's so long that he'll still be able to block the shot even after they do that. Like, for instance, I seen Zion try to do that shit to him a couple of times. In the same game, he would just, bump him. He'll move some, but his arms still stretched out long enough that he'll still be able to recover enough to still block the shot. Now, I'm not saying he'll be able to do that to Shaq because obviously that's a totally different animal. But that's your opinion. See, y'all, this is the thing. Y'all can't get past your own thoughts of what his play style is. That's why y'all comparing him to Hakeem. And I'm not talking about that. But I'm not about to keep wasting time on telling you guys the same fucking shit all damn day. We're not talking about who is his play style. We're talking about being the greatest. The mindset where you rank Bronny James all the time. I don't know how many players has played in the history of the game of the NBA. I mean, roughly no more than maybe 6,000, 7,000. I have no idea, but let's just say roughly there was 7,500 players, 551 players in total to ever play in the NBA. I would have Bronny James ranked 7,551. Oh shit. No, you motherfuckers compare MJ to LeBron. That's some shit. Y'all, this is just something y'all don't want to hear, so y'all don't want to say it. You motherfuckers are comparing. First off, like I said, people who really, really watch them motherfuckers and they see like, okay, you don't seen this dude fail numerous of times, know that there's no comparison. That shit, that's why I keep saying it's manufactured. It's not real. Anybody that actually honors winning knows that there's no comparison. That's why you don't see me keep going back and forth. I'll have a debate with somebody if they're talking about LeBron and Kobe, LeBron and Steph, LeBron and if you want to even say Tim Duncan or somebody like that. I think they're all closer to the same. Michael Jordan is on a different level from them. So I'm not about to sit here and go back and forth with you about Michael Jordan. LeBron has lost and failed too many times to even have that debate with him. That ship has sailed. It's over. We're talking about somebody else whose career is still young. He's already, like I said, he's already accomplished something that LeBron can never accomplish, which is Defensive Player of the Year. And if he wins a title this year, that's something else he's captured that in way less time, and he did it without being on a super team. This is something that Michael Jordan hasn't even accomplished yet. Because keep in mind, the Spurs were shitty when Wemby was drafted. They weren't a good team. Just like Cleveland wasn't a good team when LeBron was drafted. Chicago Bulls wasn't a good team when Michael Jordan was drafted. So he'll be able to, if he captured in the championship this year, that's going to be something that he can hold that none of these people have on their resume. Defensive Player of the Year, runner-up for MVP, Finals MVP, and then the next year he's probably going to capture that MVP award. As long as he stay healthy, he's probably going to get it. And more than likely, very high percent chance he's going to get the Defensive Player of the Year award again. So if it goes with it, if it goes like that, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, back-to-back, MVP, Finals MVP, championship. And then if they go back-to-back, which is something else that would be a franchise record for them because the Spurs have never won back-to-back championships before. That puts them in a totally different league. You're going to have to start having some very, very uncomfortable conversations because this, I can already tell by a lot of you people that's in here what y'all saying that this is already an uncomfortable conversation for you now. Other big men have scored 100, grabbed 20 boards, put up 10 blocks. So being the greatest big man of all time, we've seen it all in a certain sense. Shaq, powerfully unstoppable. Sure. All of that is true. But even after, Wilt Chamberlain recording 100, grabbing 55 rebounds in a game, and things of that nature, and of course the unstoppable force of Shaquille O'Neal that we know of, none of them are considered the greatest of all time. You have very few that might put Wilt in that argument. Some will. The older generation, would. But for the most part, most people want. And so get backs only. We're talking about basically what I was talking about is how far can we potentially see Victor Wembanyama's career reaching. We're not talking about who is his closest person we can compare him to, which is what these niggas keep trying to do. That's not what we're talking about. We're saying with what we see right now, how far could his career go? Like I said, he has a Defensive Player of the Year already. He has a Defensive Player of the Year already. He's a runner-up for the MVP. He may get the Finals MVP and championship this year. Now, all of this we don't know. This is just hypothetical. Now, later in his career, keep this in mind. Later in his career, he could very well end up becoming a choke artist. Like, who knows? We don't know this yet. He might end up getting on the biggest stage and then completely melting down. We could see that. And then we would have to have some different conversations. Like, okay, looks like he's a choke artist. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that killer gene up in him. He doesn't. And then that's another thing that I noticed about Wemby that I can say about him that I can't say about other players. It seemed as if he has that competitive spirit in him as well. Like, I saw how badly he wanted to win in the Olympics. When they was playing in the Olympics, dude was legitimately hurt when they lost to USA. Also, this past All-Star game, we know how atrocious the NBA All-Star game has been the past 8 years for sure, I would say. It's been absolutely awful to the point that people don't even watch it. No one cares about it. That's how bad it's been. And once they basically put it in there, implemented that they want to get back to a more competitive style of basketball in the All-Star game, Wemby set the tone. Anthony Edwards said it when they was was interviewing them when they was playing competitively. He was like, yeah, Wemby set the tone. He saw how Wemby was. He was coming at everybody. And then you could tell, unfortunately, his other teammates like Luka, Jokic and shit, they wasn't trying. Wemby was trying to win hard as hell. And like, I remember when Scotty Barnes hit the three that iced the game on them, the very first game between the World and, what is the World and USA, I believe it was. Stripes and the Stars, or the Stars, that's what it was, the Stars. And somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody was lacking on defense and allowed Scotty Barnes to end up getting an open shot. You could see the frustration in Wemby that whoever it was that left him open for that shot. He wanted to win bad. So, like I said, he has that competitive spirit in him, which is also a good thing because a lot of these people, that's like a lost art in the NBA now. These motherfuckers don't want to compete no more. They care more about their endorsements and the money that they're making more so than actually competing to win. Who would I say would be better between Mutombo and Yao? That's easily Yao. Mutombo was just more of a defensive player. You said you see that this nigga, he admit that's the biggest issue we have when it comes to dealing with somebody that's a LeBron fan. They immediately go to stats. Immediately go to stats. When all the things I've been talking about here is the things that we've seen in him, his competitive nature. I mentioned the one accolade that he has with his defensive, he has a defensive player of the year. And you said year 3 LeBron averaged 31 and was 2-time All NBA and 3 top 10 MVP seasons right out the gate. I'm not sure what you're saying when you say 3 top 10 MVP seasons. Because I know he wasn't top 10 in MVP his rookie year. There's no fucking way. I know that's not what you're saying. This nigga, right? You know what? I'm gonna move on to the next topic because obviously y'all not getting it. Like you keep on saying shit of what I am not saying. Like goddamn, I don't know what it is. The reason why you keep doing that shit. We are talking about potential, nigga. We understand he's not the best at his position yet. He hasn't had enough time yet. We're gonna at least have to wait till year 7 or 8 to see where he's at to even be able to make that kind of comparison. Unless this dude let's say he wins this year, then he wins the next year, and the next year after that, then I would think it's fair to say he's the greatest center. If he three-peats like that, and let's just say he wins Defensive Player of the Year every year, I think we could put him in that conversation. He might possibly be the greatest center we've ever seen. You can put him in there. But that's not what the fuck we're talking about. You know what I'm talking about? He in the GOAT conversation, none of this shit. That's you trying to create something that I'm not saying. We're talking about this nigga potential. Like when LeBron James first came into the league, he was in this conversation that I'm talking about. Not the GOAT conversation, but when you were having a conversation of how far could you potentially see LeBron go? That's what we're talking about. Now, obviously, after we've seen him lose in the finals as many times as he lost, and of course, we've seen the ultimate meltdown in 2011, that's when we knew, okay, this dude isn't in this conversation. But that's not what we're talking about. That might say Wemby's play styles like Mutombo. That's crazy as hell. Mutombo on the offensive end, all he had was a jumper. Literally, that's it. And this nigga said his play styles like him. Then nigga, man, I almost kick your ass. I should time your ass out for saying that bullshit. He would end the Thunder. Like Joe is the only one that's talking reasonably in the conversation that I'm actually having. Y'all keep trying to create different narratives of things I'm not saying. Like Joe, obviously, as we know, is a big Michael Jordan fan. If anybody slights Michael Jordan, he comes up to get on your ass. I'm not slighting Michael Jordan in the least bit. I'm not saying Wemby is better than Michael Jordan. I'm not saying he's going to be better than Michael Jordan. I'm simply stating with what we see right now, if he keeps stays in the same trajectory that we are seeing, could he potentially challenge to be the greatest of all time? That's all I'm saying. And for those of y'all that's saying he's his ceiling is a larger one and shit, y'all don't fucking know that. You haven't seen nothing that makes you think that's as far as he can go. Now, if he's let's say he's 10 years in, we don't see him choke a few times. He only got, let's say he got three defensive players of the year. He got one championship, but he's lost a few times already and shit like that. It looks like he might be injury prone, things of that nature. Then I think it'd be fair to say, yeah, his ceiling is a larger one. But he's in year 3. He averaged what did he average this past year? He averaged 25 points per game this year. He has a defensive player of the year. It looks like he's going to make it to the Western Conference Finals. Now, is he going to win it? We don't know. But you cannot tell me that's his ceiling, judging by what y'all saying is simply because that's what you want. But I'm saying, judging by what we're seeing, yeah, he could challenge it. Matter of fact, I'll go as far as this. I used to say when I was watching Kawhi Leonard, I was like, Kawhi Leonard had a chance to challenge the greatest of all time. Now, a lot of y'all probably would laugh at me for saying that, but let's really look at what Kawhi Leonard accomplished at this time period. The time period that I said that was in 2019. So in 2019, he had 2 NBA championships, 2 defensive players of the year, 2 finals MVPs. Now, he didn't have any season MVPs. So I guess for the people that honor season MVPs as much as they do, would knock that. But for me, the finals MVP isn't that important. Now, he didn't have any scoring titles either. But the major accomplishment that I think that could put him in the conversation slightly would have been he won with 3 different teams, and he wasn't team hopping, joining forces with other teams. So 3 different championships, 3 different finals MVPs, while getting the Defensive Player of the Year award, which is actually pretty hard to obtain. You know, especially when you're not a big, because typically big man wins the Defensive Player of the Year award. And then on top, then you win with 3 different franchises. Plus, the biggest icing on the cake, what I was looking at, because keep in mind, he was moving to the Los Angeles Clippers. If he was able to successfully win a title with the Los Angeles Clippers, a franchise that has never won the title before, you could legitimately make a strong argument to say, damn, everywhere Kawhi Leonard go, a championship comes with it. And he didn't have to stack the deck to do it. You could make a strong, appealing argument about that. But now we have the ability to look at history. We're now sitting at 2026. He hasn't won any championship. He has failed miserably in the Clippers uniform. And, you know, he hasn't accomplished pretty much not much of anything since then, right? A few All-Stars, maybe a few All-NBAs. But other than that, that's all he's accomplished. Now you can see, okay, yeah, his ship is sailing. He doesn't have a chance at being in any of those arguments. But at the time, in 2019, if he could have went to the Clippers and won a championship immediately with that, and let's just say he went back to back in the Clippers uniform and successfully took over LA, let's say the LA would have been the Clippers town instead of the Lakers town, you could make a strong argument that Kawhi Leonard could be in that conversation. But like I said, history told us that he's not. Now, back to Wemby, history is still here. We don't know what history looks like. So you can't say he's not going to get there, and nothing that we have seen proves that. Again, bro, you're starting to like I say, this nigga keep on saying, "What's up, Jeremiah?" This nigga keep on talking about shit I'm not talking about. Like, I'm just gonna stop answering that nigga because you're steady doing it. Nobody's putting them in a GOAT conversation. You are doing it. You are doing it by yourself. No one's doing it. Did I say do my caption say can Wemby be the GOAT? No, it does not. Did you even hear me say Wemby will be the GOAT? No. Did you hear me make a comparison with him to saying, oh, I think he's on the same level of Michael Jordan? No. Did I say he's in comparison to anybody like LeBron, Steph, or any of those people? No, I did not. So I don't understand why in the way you keep saying it. No, like no one's saying. Probably it's starting to make me think that you're getting into that mode because you know that he has a potential of being better than LeBron. That's what I'm starting to think it is with you. But you keep bringing the shit up, and I'm not talking about it. See what I'm saying? Look at this bullshit. In my opinion, Wemby can never be in the conversation. How can you fucking say that? That's what I'm saying. This is pure emotions. Again, I'm not a Wemby fan. I like him, I guess, to a degree, but Is he one of my favorite players? No. There's a lot of players in the league I like better than Wemby. But I'm just simply stating, looking at where he's at. Keep in mind, I had this same conversation about Shea. But the difference between Shea and Wemby is Shea is never going to win a Defensive Player of the Year. See, we've never seen a person be this stellar at defense, really, and potentially have the offensive ability to make a conversation to say he could possibly be the greatest. We haven't seen that in a very long time. All the other players that we might have these conversations with, like such as LeBron, their defensive skill set isn't there. No one would make a conversation, could LeBron be the greatest defender ever? You never thought it. Kobe had 3 rings at 23. True. Kobe had 3 rings in 23, but were we ever having conversations such as, could Kobe challenge Mike during that time period? No, we weren't. And what's the reason why we weren't? Because he had Shaquille O'Neal on his team. Now, very unfortunate. It's not too fair to Kobe that that's how people viewed it. And that's what ultimately made him want to separate from Shaq, because he got tired of the narrative of people saying Shaq carried him, which I don't believe to be true. But that's what the narrative was. But yeah, he had that, but he didn't have no Defensive Players of the Year. Keep that in mind. And also you gotta also remember that Kobe came into the league at 17. Wemby came into the league at 19. So it's 2 years. So if you just do a comparison to simply of the seasons, then it would be on the same trajectory. Kobe won his first championship year 3. If Wemby wins this year, he would win his first championship in year 3. And then on top of that, he has a Defensive Player of the Year, and he doesn't have a Shaq on his team. So he could be the Finals MVP, and it'd be no question who was the Batman and who was the Robin. You know for sure he was the Batman. So DeMarcus said Magic Johnson won the chip his first year. True. But y'all not paying attention to everything that I am saying. Y'all keep on trying to nitpick small shit and not pay attention to the full extent of what I'm saying. Magic Johnson was, you actually can make a strong argument. Magic Johnson was on the defensive side, you could almost say a defensive liability. He wasn't too keen at defense. So that throws him out there of what I'm talking about. And we know what Magic Johnson's career ended at. That's why I'm saying y'all niggas keep saying shit. It's almost if y'all have comprehension skills. Like there's something up with y'all not comprehending what I'm saying. Magic Johnson's career is already submitted. We know how far he went. Now, if you want to say in the beginning of Magic Johnson's career, let's say the beginning of Magic Johnson's career was today. And let's say this was his rookie year and he captured an NBA championship as a rookie. And let's say the same way it happened there, he had to play center position and things like that. Sure. You can have a conversation like, damn, this Magic dude is really good. could he potentially turn out to be the greatest of all time? Because at the time, there'll be something we've never seen before, right? But we know how his career ended. So that I don't understand why you're bringing him up. And you're saying Kawhi never had a chance. That's fine. That's in your opinion. And again, you're thinking about it because you know where Kawhi Leonard is at now. But like I said, when I first was thinking this is 2019, and I wasn't the only one. In 2019, others were saying this. And this was mainstream. So, and then here's another thing you're saying. You said defensive player of the year is easier to win than the MVP. That's not true when you're a guard, when you're a smaller person. Look at it historically. Who wins the defensive player of the year historically? Centers, nigga. If I go back and look at, I think the NBA has been here for maybe 80 years now. If you go and look at the NBA for as long as they've been recording the defensive player of the year, if I looked at it throughout history, I'm pretty sure 80% of the defensive player of the year was a center. So the fact that you were able to capture a defensive player of the year and not be a center, I would say that is more valuable than the MVP, which we've seen multiple guards get, multiple forwards get, and multiple centers get. The defensive player of the year is an award that normally is kept for the centers because they impact defense the most. Man, if you want to share your top 10 of all time, go ahead. But while you do that and you get ready to share your top 10, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my last segment. And we're going to talk about that belt. We're going to talk about that belt that the Lakers getting ready to take tomorrow. You're right. Smart has defensive player of the year. Only the third guard, I believe, to obtain it, if I'm not mistaken. I know Gary Payton and Michael Jordan have one. All right, so your top 10 is already out of here. The fact that you got Kawhi Leonard in it. So we're going to already discredit it, but hey. Kevin Durant is number 7. Yeah, you're out of your mind. How old are you? I gotta see. There's no fucking way. That nigga said number 7. 6, Dwayne. Yeah, bro. We're gonna stop paying attention to your shit. That nigga out his motherfucking mind. Are the same accomplishments prestigious as they used to be? No, I would say. Shit. Curry number 4, Kid number 3. Yeah, this is insane. Kobe number 5. Goodness. LeBron number 2. That's cap. The only thing I agree with you is number 1, Michael Jordan, boy. That's other than that, your shit's pretty damn bad, my boy. Not gonna lie to you. But hey, I'm not gonna shit on you for it. Shaq number 10 is not terrible too. Larry Bird at number 8 is not bad. But KD don't belong nowhere near this cover top 10. Dwayne Wade is nowhere near a top 10. Well, I ain't gonna say so. Dwayne Wade, in my opinion, is the top. You can put him anywhere between that top 20, top 30 area. Kawhi is not even in the top. Kawhi is like top. Maybe you can put him in the top 60 perhaps, maybe top 60, yeah. 50 maybe, but that's he's not going no further than that. That's insane. Kobe number 5. I mean, if you want to say that, I'm not mad at you. Curry number 4. You know, y'all know me. I'm a huge Curry fan. I'm not furious about that, but hey, he want to have Curry at number 4. Okay, Duncan at number 3 is kind of crazy. Even though I think LeBron is not number 2, I'm not furious about it. You said why put people that play when they're 18s? None of my players, my people in my top 10 are doing that time either. It's way other players that you can put in there outside of who you just mentioned. Nigga, you left out Magic Johnson. You left out like it's Dwayne, like it's so many people in your top 10 that I can name that didn't play. They played post after the merger, which is basically what you're talking about. That is way better than a lot of the people that you're naming. Like Kevin Durant, um, Elijah One is better than Kevin Durant. Wilt is better than Kevin Durant, even though Wilt is before the merger, so let me not name him. Shit. Um, um, who else am I talking about? I don't know why my brain gets fried like that right now. But yeah, like I said, Elijah One. Who else didn't he mention? Let me think of my own top 5 so I can know. Larry. Shit, they. I would probably like it's a lot of people, especially after what's been happening with Kevin Durant, bro. Kevin Durant having a hard time cracking the top 20 now. His shit is he going out kind of sad. And Dwayne Wade was never past the top 20. OKC is repeating, perhaps. I agree with you. Look. I agree with you on the Russell and the Wilt situation. You know, I agree with you on that. That's why I don't have them as high because I do think with them playing with very limited team, very limited talent, and stuff like that, and then most of the talent being on Bill Russell's team, you know, I got to take out some points for that. But Kevin Durant, dude, there's lots of players that's came in the league that accomplished more than Kevin Durant. Like Kevin Durant captured 2 NBA championships, 2 MVPs, 2 Finals MVPs, and he had, you know, that's cool. But we all know he did that very, he did that in a way that was very easy for him to capture it. So people don't hold his titles too highly. Granted, he did go out there and get them. Now there you got an argument there. His Olympic he did very well in the Olympics, but also think about the Olympics. The reason why he gets knocked in the NBA is because outside of playing with Steph Curry, he hasn't had much accomplishments, right? So in the Olympics, because in the NBA, matter of fact, what's been getting exposed with Kevin Durant throughout the past 5 seasons is that when you be physical with him and trap him, he doesn't do too well. That's the reason why he kind of needs certain players around him that makes it that they can't double him. Now, if you can put Kevin Durant in a scenario where he can't be doubled, Kevin Durant is a motherfucking problem. But if you put him on the NBA roster, most teams don't have super teams where he can't be doubled. So that's why he gets exposed. Now go back to the Olympics. The Olympics is the best of the best. God damn, my ugly ass brother over here, y'all, that nigga snoring his ass off. God damn. But anyways, in the Olympics is the best of the best. So you can't double him. So he's gonna look like, Superman in the Olympics because it's the players that he's around. Not taking away from his greatness. He obviously is one of the greatest to ever play the game. We'll never say that he isn't. But he's not a top 10 player. There's no fucking way. And now, I actually would make a strong argument that, and I think you had Wade at 6, right? If I'm not mistaken. Didn't you have Wade at 6? Yeah, you had Wade at 6. So, okay, you do have Wade ahead of Kevin Durant. Now, I can probably agree, in my opinion, that Wade is ahead of Kevin Durant. Probably can make a strong argument of that. But keep in mind, I think Wade belongs in that top 20 area. And that's why after seeing Kevin Durant come up small the way he's been doing and stuff like that as of late, I think Kevin Durant belongs in that same area. Because, like I said, it's a lot of people that I'll take over him. No, I never thought Giannis had the potential to challenge Jordan because he never did anything that makes you think that he could. See, that's where I think you guys keep going wrong at. See, Giannis, let's look at Giannis very quickly. When he first came into the NBA, keep in mind he had a growth spurt. Giannis wasn't nearly as tall as he is now when he first came in the NBA. That's one thing. Then on top of that, his offensive ability, scoring ability, was nowhere near what we see now. So there was nothing with Giannis' career that made you think he could potentially do it. So obviously I didn't. Victor Wembanyama, he has that. He's an excellent defender. He's a good scorer, not an excellent one, but a good scorer. But you see the potential. The fact that he's 7 feet and he can shoot the three, that he has range, that he can work in the post. You know what I'm saying? Even though he don't do it as much as he should. That he has good footwork. You know what I'm saying? That he can make free throws. That's another thing that Giannis can't do. So the fact that Wemby has a lot of things now that Giannis don't even have now puts them on different levels. Giannis didn't even have that back. He damn sure didn't have it back then. And some of the stuff that I'm talking about, he don't have it now. Like he can't shoot still today. He still can't make free throws. He don't have the same footwork and shit as Wemby does. So yeah, it's not the same. Who's better, Kawhi Leonard or Dwayne Wade? So if we're talking about from an all-time, career standpoint, we got to go with Wade. Wade, had a because I think Wade's 06 reign is more impressive than Kawhi Leonard's 19 and his 2014 reign. Like that was a hell of a run Wade went on in 06. And then, of course, he got 2 more rings with LeBron. So that would give him 3 rings in comparison to Kawhi's 2. Now, Kawhi do have some defensive players of the year. That helps him. But Wade was actually pretty damn good defensively as well. Wade has way more. See, when comparing certain people like that, I would have to start factoring in other things like stats and stuff like that. For me, stats is going to come like maybe third or fourth thing that I'm looking at when I'm comparing who's better. Winning is always going to come first. How much did you win? Then I started looking at the eye test of how good you were, at the game. And then I started measuring in your stats because stats can be manipulated and stats also vary depending on the era that you played in. That's the reason why I don't measure stats first, like, of course, a lot of LeBron fans love to do. Because LeBron James playing throughout 3 decades, that benefits him a lot. He's able to say, oh, look, he did this, he did that. He's playing in the era where it's the easiest to obtain a lot of these stats. During the other eras, it wasn't so easy. So what you got to do is compare him to the peers. Then when you see how he don't measure up the same with the peers, that's when stuff starts to get exposed. Like, to be honest with you, a fair comparison for LeBron would be Wilt Chamberlain. They're very similar. The only difference is Wilt Chamberlain didn't get to stack the deck like LeBron did. But both of them were super stat stuffers. They accomplished a lot of things statistically. But if you look at both of them's record, as far as winning, they lost a lot. Does more total skills equal better? Because look at Shaq. So if we're asking, if you're asking what I think you're asking, I agree with you. It doesn't. If you're asking me, does skill necessarily mean you're better? No. Because if that was the case, LeBron James wouldn't be as high as ranked as he is. I never looked at LeBron James as one of the most skilled players we've ever seen. But however, he's absolutely one of the most talented and absolutely one of the greatest we've ever seen. So it's all about, your body of work of what you are able to do with what you have. Like Shaq, obviously, is not the most skilled. I would say he was pretty skilled for his size, but he's not the most skilled we've ever seen. But he was so powerful that you just simply couldn't stop him. So it doesn't matter, right? Like, we're talking about simply from a skill standpoint, then we'll be talking about players like Kobe, which Kobe is also one of the greatest as well. But, Kobe was super skillful. Mike was skillful. I would throw Kyrie up in that argument. Steph would be in that argument. Players like that. But skills doesn't necessarily make you better. And that's another thing that I try to tell people about this new era. Yes, they may have some skill sets that looks to be more appealing to watch because it looks more fancy and flashy. However, it doesn't necessarily equate to being better, because if you got one player that is able to cross you over, look good, shoot far and stuff like that, but when you put good defense on him, you lock him up, does that really matter? If he's capable of doing that, but it doesn't transition over to you winning. Let's say the other player, he just got a basic game. He's gonna put his back to the basket, back you down, get to his spot, dribble, pull up, or get to the cup, get a layup, get a dunk. And that's how his game looked. But he's constantly, consistently being able to do that. and can't nobody stop him, and he consistently keeps winning championships. Can you truly say that the player that was able to dribble it better, has flashier passes, can shoot from deeper from three and things of that nature, is better just because he's able to do fancier skill sets? I would say no. So you said this is your top 10. Michael Jordan, number one. Number two, Shaq. Shaq is crazy. Tim Duncan is three, is crazy, kind of too. Kobe at number four. Okay. Bron at five. Okay, I can take that. Elijah One at seven. I'm not mad at it. Kareem at eight. All right. Magic at nine. Okay. Bill at 10. Or am I tripping? Because I see you say Will at 10. So obviously you got, in my opinion, you got Shaq way too high. Tim Duncan is a tad bit too high. And if you move the order around some, I wouldn't be too mad at your top 10. But yeah, there's no way Shaq is number two. That's insane. Tim Duncan being number three. You told me you're a Tim Duncan fan too, I believe. So that would make sense of why you got him that high, but there's no way he's number three. Who would you say is more dominant, Shaq or Steph Curry? Well, they're dominant in different ways, but we're going to talk about strictly dominance. I probably would say Shaq because Shaq is just simply harder to stop. And it's crazy. It's kind of crazy to say because Steph is unstoppable in a different way. Like Steph is such a outlier. He's such a dude is such an exception to the rule than what you typically would see, which is why it would be a huge testament to his greatness. Because typically, historically, you'll always look at a jump shooter as like, okay, he's a good jump shooter, but hey, eventually jumpers, in certain days, jumpers don't fall. So you're, you know, can't nobody typically do that for that long of a stretch. Steph Curry has obtained this for so long. And then, like, of course, with another thing that people don't talk about a lot with him is his endurance. Like, he has exceptional endurance to be able to run around the court and be able to read shit the way he's being able to read it. Like, that's another one whose basketball IQ don't get talked about enough. To be able to put himself in a position to be able to score. Because keep in mind, Steph Curry finds a way to get open a lot. Although he's the greatest shooter we've ever seen, he still knows how to run the system to be able to get himself free to get a pretty good look to make a shot, right? So, and then of course he makes very difficult, insane shots. So it's different levels of dominance. It's done differently. It's just that with Shaq, majority of his shots is going to come within 3 feet. So that's a very high, much higher percent shot. And Steph Curry, of course, majority of his shots is coming from probably 25 feet. And that's a tougher shot. But of course, one of them is worth 3, the other is worth 2. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to this belt. This belt that's about to go across the Los Angeles Lakers' ass. So, as we know, a belt is about to go across the Los Angeles Lakers' ass, right? We know that the Oklahoma City Thunder are now up 2-0. It's kind of weird because They've won both games by 18 points. But yet, I must say that it doesn't look like it didn't seem like a dominant win, right? Like it wasn't a dominant win. Even though it's kind of crazy to say 18 points is not a dominant win because it is. But if you just pay attention to the game, like for the most part, the Lakers were able to hang in there. It wasn't until the end of the game that we were able to see this Oklahoma City Thunder break away and kind of blow it open. So I gotta be honest. Although they did win twice by 18, it didn't make me think, oh, there's no way the Lakers have a chance at it. Because it wasn't a dominant performance. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a performance from start to finish that you're like, okay, the Lakers don't have a chance at winning this. Simply looking at the game and how the scoring was done, right? Now, here's the other thing. What we also got to factor in is the fact that the best player on the Oklahoma City Thunder, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has yet to have a great game yet. So we got to factor that in too, right? Shai hasn't had a great game yet, and they were still able to beat them by 18 both games. So I guess it's going to come down to how much do we think the home court advantage standpoint is going to help the Los Angeles Lakers? Because we know they're going to be at home tomorrow. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the pros for the Lakers right now. The pros of them being at home right now is the fact that certain players that was able to get them past the God damn, this ugly ass nigga was just snowing. But the good part is that we were able to see throughout the first round players like Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart. Who else played kind of well during the Rocket series, especially those two? I'm trying to think. Was it somebody else that kind of came along for the party to help them with the Rockets? If there's anybody else that y'all can think of, let me know. But Luke Kennard is the one that I'm thinking about the most right now. If Luke Kennard can show up tomorrow, could that change a few things? Because I think the highest we've seen him score in this Oklahoma City, I think he did have a game that he had 10, right? I believe he had a 10-point game. But we know during that Rocket series, he was able to have multiple 20-plus point games. So perhaps if they go home, could Luke Kennard spark a 20-point game and help give them a lift? But keep this in mind. If he does, you would still need LeBron to produce as well. But he would have to give you 25 plus as well. And Austin Reeves would also have to chip in close to the same in order for them to have a legitimate shot at this. Now, this is just me simply speaking of what needs to take place for the Lakers to have a chance. Obviously, you can't turn the ball over because we know Oklahoma City capitalized off turnovers. That's where they really bury you when you turn the ball over a lot. So that's the things that we got to look for to see could the Lakers potentially have a shot at this. But like I've been saying, Shai hasn't had a good game yet. Who is this? What's up? Who's there?
Yo, what's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good. What's up? What you got?
You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm just trying to hear you out, bro. I really feel like you don't know how the truth about basketball. You feel me?
You said what?
I feel like you really don't understand basketball if you really like the Knicks like that. You
If I
feel me?
really like the who like that?
The Knicks.
I'm not even a Knicks fan, dude. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you really just don't understand basketball.
Okay, so explain why you think that.
Cause you feel like the Knicks are gonna be going to the finals.
I never fucking
I
said
mean,
that. So what the fuck are you talking about? See,
no,
that's
but
what I'm
no,
saying.
but
You didn't hear me say that
okay.
not once.
All right, so what do you think?
Exactly. See, you just
What's your
don't
team? What's your
understand.
team? So you don't even know. Yeah, you know when.
I put that in the caption because a lot of Knicks fans, I'm
Yeah,
guessing you just read the title and assumed. So I put
no.
that in their title because a
Mm,
lot of Knicks fans tend to believe that they're going to go to the
mm.
finals this year.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'm not. No, so it's clickbait, is what it is.
something like that. I
Cause
guess.
yeah, so I was right
But keep
at
in
the
mind,
end.
it has a question mark. I didn't say
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but whenever I see that, I'm like, oh, okay, so he thinks that the Knicks are gonna go to the finals. No, they're
no.
not. No.
I said
No, but whenever you have it in your title, it's like, oh, it's a question mark. Like, oh, are they gonna go to the final? No, they're not. No.
yeah. So
But
I'm
you think
asking
it,
a question to
you're
the
making me think that you think that they are gonna go to the finals. You feel
well,
me?
that's
And they're
just
not.
you. That was your assumption. You
No,
could have
no,
just
no.
asked in the
That was
comment
your
section.
clickbait. No, that was your clickbait. That's why I joined in just to see. And
It
you're gonna kick
wasn't.
me.
It, like
No,
I said,
okay, you're
it
not gonna
says
kick me.
it's
Okay,
a
that's
question.
fine. No.
It's a question mark.
All right, what's your team then? If you're gonna be real about it.
I'm a Phoenix Suns fan.
Okay, so you don't watch it like that.
The fuck are you talking about? What me being a
Like you,
Phoenix Suns fan got to do with me watching it?
knowing what's good.
Anyways, bro, I'm not about to go back and forth with you. Just know I'm
Because
a
you
Suns fan.
clueless. That's all good. That's all good,
The Suns fan, actually, I would
brother.
say that me being a Suns fan proves that I'm actually a fan of
Clueless.
basketball because
Oh, okay.
I'm not a
Not
fan of a
clueless. Not
bandwagon game.
clueless. Not clueless.
What?
What's your favorite player?
Favorite player in the league right now is Steph Curry.
Steph Curry. All right. Give your top five. Give your top five right now.
Top
Look at
five
the
of
camera.
what?
Look at the camera. Look at the camera and do
Nigga,
top five.
you don't control my life. What the fuck I look
No,
at?
I
What are
do.
you talking
No, I
about?
do. No, I do. Look at the camera and do top five.
Dude, you said top five. Top five of what, nigga? What are we talking about?
Players,
All
players,
time
players. No.
or
Just your
in the
favorite players.
favorite
Whoever.
player
Yeah.
in the league now?
Look at.
They were saying you gotta give me a time period. What are we talking
Okay,
about?
you're right. You're right. My bad. My bad. I'm gonna say right now with a mix of all time.
All time favorite, top five favorite all time. That's what you're asking me.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. Yeah. Look at
Okay,
the
so
camera though. Look at the camera when you're saying it.
I'm about to put your head, nigga. I don't know what this nigga on. You ain't finna tell me what the fuck. This nigga out of his mind. Telling me what the hell to look at and shit like that. The fuck you think you controlling? But anyways, um, what I was saying, nigga done fucked up my whole goddamn memory with this bullshit. So let me read you. You said which legend had the greatest single season ever in the NBA in history of NBA? Greatest run. Which legend had the greatest runs? That's a good question, bro. Hold up. All right, so you said which legend had the greatest single season ever in the history of the NBA. Single season? So we talking about season. Bro, honestly, call me biased. And hey, you can call me on my shit if you disagree. And you can kind of educate me. But so you said Jordan in 95, 96. That's obviously up there. Hakeem in 93, 94. So look, this is what matters. Because you said single season. So is that including the results of how did they win the finals or as well, or is it just simply talking about the season? If we talking about simply the season, I'm going to say Steph Curry 2016. But if we're talking about also what they accomplished, like winning the championship as well, then that could change some things. Because we can talk about, like you said, the 95-96 Bulls with Michael Jordan. We can definitely talk about Hakeem, in 94. Then you said Shaq in 99 to 2000. I'm not that that's something that I'm not that familiar with. I mean, obviously I know he won the championship. That was his first one in 2000, but I'm not that familiar with the run that he did, like what he accomplished. And I'm also not that familiar with, I know the 96 Celtics was one of the greatest teams ever. But I know they won 67 games that year. They recorded 67 and 15. But to say what Larry Bird did personally, I'm not that familiar. So, and then you also said Kareem year in 1970 to 71. Also, way before my time, I'm not too familiar. So my youth would kind of show when it comes to that. You would have to educate me a little bit on that. Hey, YD. My bad, YD. I'm just not seeing your comment. You got it already. I was just not seeing your comment, bro. I was about to drop it now.
Man, why you didn't keep that whole ass nigga up here, man?
That's why I kicked his ass out. I was trying to give him a chance, bro. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, nigga?
Damn, bro, I was coming to help you, bro.
I was like, what the fuck are you? This nigga was telling me, look at the bro. To be honest with you, I think that nigga was on some fruit cup shit.
Me too, bro.
I'm like, nigga, what the fuck you telling me?
He talking about looking at the camera when you say it. That nigga a whole man.
Yeah. I'm like, nigga, this nigga came over here telling me what day you're top five. Look at the camera.
He said you were looking at the camera and shit, bro.
It be a lot of niggas.
Man, I got up here.
Oh, shit. And one nigga, bro, the crazy shit. Yeah, bro. That's why I be cautious. Like, soon the people come up there, I ask them some quick questions. If they ain't answering quick, I just kick their ass off because I actually had a fruit cup came up here and did some diddy shit.
Nigga, fruit cup.
Dead ass, bro. So I was like,
damn, bro.
Get out of here. Okay, so if you talking about winning the championship, bro. If you're talking about winning the championship, the greatest run probably would be, for me, probably Elijah Wan, because like Michael Jordan, and obviously what they did was very impressive in 96. But them winning the championship was something you expected. After winning 72 games. But I'm not mad if somebody thinks it's the 96 Bulls. That's obviously was a very great run too. I mean, you can also, if we're talking about that, you can throw 2011 Dallas Mavericks in that conversation as well. Because look at what they did. I can't remember exactly how many games they won that year, but they defeated the defending champion Kobe, swept them. They beat Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Thunder.
No, Cole, I still like being about that.
And who else they beat? Obviously, they beat the big three Heat, but it was. I'm trying to remember who was the other Western Conference team.
Hey, who beat the big three Heat?
I'm talking about because the brother right there asked me what do I think the greatest run was, and I said I was throwing a couple of teams that you can put in there, you know, players and teams. So I was like Dirk Nowitzki's run,
like playoff runs. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you know he swept Kobe, he beat Kevin Durant and Russ, and he beat LeBron them in the same round. So like that's very impressive.
Oh yeah, that was a hell of a run.
Yeah.
But you know who would have been the best run though if Oklahoma City would have beat the big three Heat, they'll have the best run.
So let me try to remember who did they face in the West that year.
They gentlemen swept the champions, which was Dallas. They gentlemen swept Kobe. Then they 4-2 nigga the San Antonio Spurs. Then they played LeBron.
Now I remember that part. I remember when they played the Spurs, and then of course the championship against the Heat. I still don't think that'd have been better than the 2000.
Yeah, bro. Yes, it would. Just think about that, bro. Oklahoma City would have gentlemen swept Kobe. They would have, nigga. I think they swept Dallas. That was the champions. And then nigga, they took out San Antonio. If they would have put LeBron and D Wade, nigga, if they would have added that nigga to their menu, but that would have been crazy.
The same thing though. They swept the.
But who did Dirk beat? Who did Dirk beat?
They swept the defending.
I know he beat Kobe. I can't remember who else he beat.
They also beat Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden Thunder. Keep in mind, Did they beat
San Antonio too?
I think the Thunder beat San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back and look at that.
Yeah, tell me that.
But I know they had they beat some good ass teams to get there, and they beat the big three Heat. Let's see. So shit, I'm looking at the wrong year. There we go. So they faced Portland at the first round. That's what it was.
I'm scared of them.
Yeah, so they beat Portland. They beat Portland the first round. Then it was then it was the Lakers. Then it was the
Portland. Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, bro, I would go with the Thunder run if they would have beat Miami.
So the Thunder's run is they beat Dallas, they beat the Lakers and San Antonio.
Kobe. Yeah.
It is impressive, I gotta say. Yeah.
Cause think about it, then they would have beat the big three Heat.
But
that's
I would say what kind of makes it a little different is Dirk them, like if Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden would have beat the big three Heat, you know, you wouldn't have been that shocked about it because the team the team. If you look at simply the team, you would think, okay, they gonna put. We can see how that happened. Because keep in mind, like you said, the Heat was the underdog. When Dallas came up against the Mavericks, I mean the Heat, they were the underdog. Nobody thought the Mavericks had a chance at that.
I mean, they had a chance. They weren't supposed to win though.
Yeah, but no. Let's be real.
I agree with you there.
People didn't think they had a chance. Oh shit!
That's one season I can't shake, bro. I can shake every other season. I can shake every other season LeBron had, bro, except for 2011.
Rick Barry, 1975, leading the Warriors to the NBA championship,
and that's why he can't be. And that's why I can't put it. And that's why I can't put him over Jordan, bro. I'll be wishing that Jordan had a 2011.
That's crazy. Why the fuck would you wish that? And that's another thing.
Because then I have a reason.
That's another thing about Michael Jordan that just pushes him far ahead of everybody else. That's the only player that I know of is you can say he's never had a bad series. You can say certain series wasn't as good as the others, but to say he had a bad series, you can't say it.
I mean, no. I mean, he done had bad series before. I mean, I ain't saying all the series been good. I'm saying he ain't never had no motherfucking. He ain't never had a bad series.
Yeah, name it.
Bro, the year he had Detroit down 2-1 and let him come back and win 3 games in a row. Nigga, one of those games, nigga, he shot the ball like 8 times. Like that's what I'm saying, bro. When you say bad series, like the bar's so high that I'm saying 2011, I don't classify that as a bad series. I classify that as a meltdown. That's worse than a bad series.
A bad series, nigga.
If it was just a bad series, nigga, I wouldn't even care.
Anytime you got 2 teammates that average more than you, that's a bad series.
No, you're not getting what I'm saying. I'm saying if it was just a bad series, it wouldn't stick with me like it stick with me now. 2011 is worse than a bad series, bro.
Okay, I got you. But yeah, what I'm saying is
a bad series, nigga, is what Steph. A bad series is what Steph had, nigga, in 2016.
I agree with you. Yes. But what I'm saying is Mike never had none of those. I know, nigga. So that's what I'm saying. He never had a bad series. He had a series that you can say this series wasn't as good as the other seasons. I mean series, sure. Everybody can say that. But
no. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like bro, back in the day, bro, bad series, nigga, was kind of contingent on where you expected to win or not. Let me give you an example. Sure, okay, you remember the year that Jordan scored 63 on the Celtics? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm saying you remember the year that Jordan scored 63 on the Celtics? It don't matter what Jordan would have did that year, it wouldn't have been a bad series because he wasn't expected to win. He wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're there and
because he got swept.
He got swept, sure. But it was simply because he was outmatched. Celtics team was just way better. But there's a difference between,
okay, bro,
you getting your ass whooped and you underperforming. Like let's say Mike got swept in each game, they held him under 20. That would have been a bad series.
All right, bro. All right, big bro. That's a bit, bro. I'm gonna link up with you tomorrow, bro. When the game on, bro. I'm gonna be there front and center.
All right, cool.
You going live? You going live for this channel?
Yeah, I plan to.
Okay, I won't be there. Right now, nigga, I'm kind of busy. I got something I gotta do. But I'm gonna be at your head tomorrow though. Pause.
All right, man. Be safe out there.
All right, baby. I'm gonna be safe. Believe you, man. Seatbelt on, everything.
All right.
All right, bro.
All right. My boy, Young Menace, you said I came and seen the title. All I gotta say is New York coming out black. Hey, yeah, New York got a chance to get into the finals. I'll say that they got a chance at it. Am I saying they're gonna do it? I don't know. But like I said, I'm not sold that they're gonna make it past Detroit. They could. Celtics also went 40-1 at home in 1986. Yeah, the Celtics were some bad boys. Like I said, it's way before my time, so I don't know a whole lot about it. You know, I just know kind of what I kind of did my due diligence and you know, kind of just being a student to the game and kind of paid attention to some of it of what happened with them. But I can't say I know a whole lot about them. Season plus playoffs. All right. Okay, so yeah, see, we already covered that. Shaq is the most unstoppable player I've ever seen grown aware with my own eyes. I can probably agree with that. Dirk beat Portland first. Okay, he was answering that. I was behind. I was thinking more in terms of superstar power. Dirk's Mavericks run is up there. I agree, but I felt more like a team effort than Dirk carrying it. Okay, I got you. I can agree with that too, kid. So if we talking about from that standpoint, then we probably would go with. I probably would go with. I probably would go with Elijah one because let's. How this is what reason why I'll say that because we know Mike in '96 was very dominant, right? They ran through the East and they ran into the Celtics. I mean, they ran into the Supersonics, sorry, in the finals. And you know, although they did, of course, end up winning the series, they ended up winning in six. And you know, Mike's last couple of games in '96 wasn't the strongest. So that would kind of take away from it a little bit, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because actually, you know, Gary Payton believes that if he would have been put on Michael Jordan sooner than Game 5, perhaps the outcome of that series would have been different. I know this because I have had private conversations with Gary Payton myself, and he told me that. And of course, he said it on in the public eye. So. Now, whether or not that's the truth, who knows? Who would you say is Gary? I think you meant to ask who would I say is better between. I'm guessing you meant Garnett or Dirk. And if you're asking me that, I'm picking Kevin Garnett. Yeah, that's what you meant. In clutch time. Okay, so now you changed it. You say in the clutch time. Oh shit. Maybe you'll go with Dirk doing that if we're gonna add that to the mix. What's up, SG? Um, I looked at the watch party for a little while. I believe they're in season 4 of Ghost still. Probably like episode 2 or 3 in Ghost. I'm about to go ahead and get up off here anyways too. But yeah, I want to go ahead and finish up my last statement before that little dude came up here with that weird shit that he came up here with. But yeah, what I was saying is Shea hasn't had a good game yet. And I would say he's due for a good game. The first game, we know he had some pretty bad turnovers. 7 turnovers, that's pretty bad, especially for, him. Shea don't typically turn the ball over very much. And then the last game, he was in foul trouble. Had to sit out most of the first half, part of the third, because of foul trouble. So perhaps in LA tomorrow will be his breakout game. And if that's the case, as long as the rest of the team still plays close to what they were playing like at home, it still looks like that's going to equals a belt to ass for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, if they can continue to contain Shea, then I think the Lakers could have a legit chance and possibly winning a game. Because typically for role players, role players typically don't play as well away as they do at home. Now, that's not the case for them motherfuckers when they played my sons, because them bitches was hitting everything. They would piss me the fuck out. But anyways, we know they set tomorrow to play 5:30 my time, Pacific. And I'm probably about to get ready to close the stream, people. Unless anybody else, y'all got any last comments or, questions that you want to add, go ahead and let me know. But yeah, I'm about to go ahead and end this. Yeah, it's 5:30 my time. Pistons play tomorrow at 12. Yeah, I agree. A lot of ones 93, 94 seems to be the best up so far from the ones mentioned. Season MVP, Finals MVP, had to beat very solid teams, Suns, Knicks, and Jazz, while being the lower seed. So yeah. But anyways, though, much appreciation to everybody that stopped through. Always much love and respect. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to end this stream right here. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow when it's time for the Lakers to get their next ass whooping. But until then, I'm gonna holler at y'all.